the snow is shining bright. The pack is on the run through woods that hide the sun. Howl through the snow in a wolf pack, fierce and bold. Oh, what a sight to chase the night and feel the wild unfold.
Ho, ho, ho. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Edufuturists podcast. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here for this Christmas special. You will see that we don't just have one guest. We have a plethora of wonderful, beautiful individuals from our community. So, this is Ben. We're not going to spend time talking about how we are. Because one, you don't like me, and two, I don't like you. So that's absolutely fine.
And three, no one gives a shit, so it's fine.
Absolutely.
We skip past this on the podcast normally.
Well, this is where they've dropped out. But this is our Christmas special. We've made it, everybody. Happy Christmas, and hopefully, if you don't listen to the next one, I don't know why you wouldn't, have a wonderful New Year. But should we get started, then? Should we into the wonderful conversation? This is, I think, probably going to be the most fun that we've had on the podcast.
No doubt. So we've got just before we do start, I'm just going to give a shout out to Poppy with the pink hair, Poppy Lemar. She was supposed to be joining us as well, but she's not very well today. So we are thinking of you. Merry Christmas. Hope you're feeling better, and we hope that your fancy Santa hat, Edufuturist branded no less, is make you feel a little better. So you see everybody on the screen. If you're only listening to this, you're thinking, oh, what are they talking about? Get onto YouTube and have a look at these wonderful hats. They are no messing. Edufuturist branded Christmas hats. So we're gonna do some intros. Tell us who they are and why they love being part of the Edufuturists Wolfpack. So should we go to you first, Naomi? Can you tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and why you love being part of the Edufuturists Wolfpack?
Hello, or Hola, Feliz Navidad, because my name's Naomi, but I am from Ireland, but currently coming to you from Tenerife. Lovely and sunny over this side, so Feliz Navidad. I love being part of Edufuturists just because of the crack. Love it. Love that we get stuff done, but also we have lots of fun and lots of just community as part of it. So really excited to be here. Really excited to be in the sunshine, but also see some snow and some Christmas hats on the go as well. So excited for today.
Amazing. Tara.
Hello there. Hi, I'm Tara Jones. I'm the Director of Education at Greenhouse, and also I do digital strategy with schools. And being part of this community in the Edufuturists Wolfpack is invaluable. Ben, even in December, have I pinged you at least twice and said, this has just come up in strategy. Who can you connect me with? Instant connections. And as soon as you drop into that, part of the Wolfpack, part of Edufuturists, you'll get the call. And someone will pick up the phone. The warmth in this community and the availability, people giving up their time is just superb. It's just, honestly. And so a big thank you as well to you and to Steve, because you support me in my role in making new connections. So great. Thank you.
Thanks, Tara. And we definitely hear that as well, that people helping us and supporting what we do and championing that. And you're a big part of that. So thank you. Christine. I think this is the first time you've been on the podcast. Is that right?
It is. I am a long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm also full of cheese. I'm sorry. I'm Christine, teacher for basically my entire life. I've spent 40 odd years in education, from being a child, and I'm going to shout out to all my Welsh friends, Nadolig Llawen. If we're gonna go out with Feliz Navidad, let's go Welsh as well. Nadolig Llawen, everyone. Teacher. I jumped out of the classroom a couple of years ago, though. I decided I needed a change. So I support schools now with kind of implementing technology into their classrooms and making sure they make the most of it, because otherwise it's just a really expensive investment that just gets really dusty. The Wolfpack, Edufuturist, it's been said, it's the connections, it's the community. And for me, it's that kind of valuing what everybody's got to bring. I wasn't necessarily an academic in my education days. I would have absolutely flunked the SATs. So it's that valuing the bigger picture, the whole child, the whole person, and that actually there are different types of intelligence. So for me, that's what Edufuturist is about, being part of the Wolfpack, making a change and making sure everybody is seen.
Yes. yes to that. Lots of nods on the people on the panel as well. So thank you, Dave. Now you have been on. You are well known. You are an OG, right, in this space.
Just up 50 something, I think it was, wasn't I? So yeah, it's been a while, but lovely to see everybody on the call and some absolute legends here. And I'm here for some reason as well. But Edufuturists to me is all about. I've got this thing about this phrase that I hate, which is "we've always done it that way." And the Wolfpack is about breaking that paradigm, isn't it? It's about looking what can happen in the future rather than what is happening at the moment or what's happened at the past. So yeah, I think for me, working in schools in IT support, there's an element of that futurism there and innovation. But no, it's about let's break down the barriers, let's make education better, and let's realise the potential of both the teachers, the learners, and what education can be in the future.
Love it. The legend that is Dave Leonard from Watergrove Trust. For those people who have not listened to his dulcet tones before, he is, like I said, the nicest man. I've said this before, the nicest man in IT that you could ever meet. And he lives not too far from me. But the craziness about all of this is we've never been out for a beer, have we?
Yet.
Look at that growth mindset. I believe in you, Dave. I believe in you. Yeah, let's. There we go. Maybe as we talk about what 2026 is going to bring, it'll be that. Next up is the newest member of the pack on the screen, anyway. At least is the lovely Louisa.
Hi. Honestly, like if you have to explain what the Wolfpack is. Like this call is just the most perfect example. Everybody is so lovely, and when somebody mentioned that they don't know, Dave, I think it was you, the OG, who even though you're an OG didn't know why you were on this call. But I mean, I literally did not know my luck. Actually, like my luck when I met the Edufuturists, like you guys have created a community that I always say it to you when I see you now, like you've created a community that is so warm and so supportive, genuinely supportive, right? I should probably, yes, I am the CEO of a children and young persons mental health charity, and it's called Beyond, by the way, go find us out. But we only recently kind of explored the synergy, let's say, with the EdTech community. And you guys were one of the first people that we met. And you literally, I mean, you're just like a breath of fresh air. Everybody thinks that, the teaching community is really kind of boring and, God, what were you doing? I've been on nights out.
Most of us are, let's be honest.
Been on nights out where I could definitely quash that rumor. Is by far one of the most fun nights. In fact, only recently did I go out with a bunch of teachers celebrating at the Education Supply Awards. Honestly, it's just a brilliant atmosphere. But the Wolfpack is kind of next level for me. It's warm, it's supportive, it's got no expectations, and I think that's really, really unique. Yeah. So thanks.
Amazing. And we love having you part of it. And actually, we met for the first time at the BET Awards, which is crazy, which is less than 12 months ago. And we interviewed you and one of your young people who was part of that. And it was pretty special. And we knew, yeah.
Do you want
go on? Have you got an exclusive? Go on, give us an exclusive.
Ready? We are Awards charity partner for 2026.
Yes, well, that is awesome. Like I said, and as Louisa said, what we're going to do, by the way, for those people who didn't know, we're going to put in the show notes links to these people on the social, and any of the organisations work that they do. You can find out a little bit about them because we want to share that. Now, last but not least, this is a living legend, and like just show them what you've got in your hand. For those people who are listening, show them what you've got in your hand there. Like
it's a glass of eggnog.
It's a glass of eggnog, and look at that. A glass of eggnog. It does not know how to not be a legend. And this is the great man, Gaz Lewis. Tell us a little bit about you and why being part of the Edufuturists Wolfpack.
Well, thanks for the intro. Legend. It's kind of a nice word. Hi, everyone. My name's Gaz Lewis. Currently working in the EdTech space. been doing that for about 6 months. Prior to that, I was in further education. So I was lecturing in engineering and running an air and defense college, and then realized the power of EdTech only about 4 years ago. So I started to play around with EdTech, went through the Google Champions route, and that's how I met the amazing Steve and Ben and Dave and Naomi, and then the Edufuturists came along after that. And for me, it's what's so special about it is it's kind of been touched on by everyone, but it's that accessibility. Everyone is welcome. Christine touched on it. I'm not an academic. I make 2 short planks look like a supercomputer, but I was welcomed and my ideas were listened to and welcomed. But my favorite thing is the fact that people have got the minerals to ask really naughty questions that are challenging, that push boundaries and hurt people's brains a bit. But we've all got the capacity to do that in a challenging, supportive and an honest way, and not stomp all over people, but try and get some answers. And that's what I love most.
Radical candour, Gaz. I think I would label it as the ability to bring in a conversation, to kind of look at systems, to not to call out individuals. We've had some people that oppose and are from different sides of. Recently, we've had some people on, and we want to kind of open up the echo chamber. But yeah, radical candour, where people can have positive conflict, disagree, but still get on. In this day and age, is not something you really find. People say, well, if that person thinks this and that person's, I'm going to stand at the other side of the room. Well, ultimately, we're saying, well, that's absolutely fine. That's normal. When did we think that a disagreement or something, not everybody can be exactly the carbon copy of each other? And that's what's perfect about the community. What should be perfect about the world? Let's be honest. I want to go that way. But ultimately, I think it's we want to create a microcosm of what we expect conversations, because if we were to bring young people to our events, we'd have to swear a lot less. There'd have to be a lot less drunk people. But at the same point, what we'd want them to see is, oh, actually, that's how adults should behave. That's what the passion should be. And ultimately, I think that would be a good starting point. One day the kids will come, and get ready for Ollie and Ella, everybody. Because if you think me and Ben are bad, imagine if we got all of our children and friends' children and everything else came, it would be absolutely
Mate, my kids are well behaved and do as they're told. That's because their mums are caught. Their mums are caught. Like, they've
You've
no choice.
Compliant children. And what I've done is I've completely... But I wish my children were compliant children at times. Absolutely. So, no, great to be connected and just have those conversations. I think what we'll start with, and we'll go around the same way, if that's okay. So we'll start Naomi and then go around. But it's about what are our experiences. Let's think of a funny story, a positive story, because often we hear, well, the reason I went into change is because I had such a bad experience. My experience at school wasn't great, but I have some wonderful stories. But it isn't about me, and I'm not going to tell my story. So anybody, we'll start with Naomi, but if Naomi goes, I don't have any, and we'll jump about a bit. A funny story of teaching or actually when you were in class. Anything, Naomi.
So a funny story. Do you know what pops in mind with Christmas time at the minute? It's kind of funny, and then it's kind of like about like how a teacher can impact your space. So whenever I was in school, I was like the star of I was in the middle of like the nativity. Like my role was just to stand and have a star like this. So there's probably about 20 minutes of me standing like this, just being like, I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. And so this 20 minutes, I realized I needed to go to the bathroom inside that 20 minutes. And I was like I think it was about 8 or so at the time. And so I was like holding the star. I was like, do I stop being the star to go to the toilet, or do I stand here and just...
I thought you were going to say you were a
star?
teacher then, by the way. I thought you said you were going to be a teacher then, by the way, 8 years old.
It was just last year, actually. It was like, that was all... The little 8-year-old me thought, okay, I can't not be the star, so I'll just have to go to the toilet while I'm standing here. And so obviously just standing there with the star, thinking that's what you do. And then my teacher, literally, I remember her seeing me and being like, oh no, that's happening. But she discreetly took me to the side afterwards, and she was like, okay, it's fine, you're okay. Took me, and like she didn't let anyone else know that what was happening. And so I think that's like kind of a bit of a funny story that I'm sharing with the whole world, that I've never told much people about that, actually. So you're welcome. That's another first. It's a little explicit from me. Like the whole idea of like how the teacher really didn't make a fuss out of it didn't make me feel like that. I think it really showed me like that's really important for like kids to feel like they're seen, but also feel like they're understood in that way. So yeah, that's kind of my little story about how I was a star and had a little accident when I was a star in the Christmas show.
I didn't know where it was going to go, of whether you were basically going to go to the toilet but still just stand like a star, but you clearly didn't. But just remember, don't ever ask Naomi to stand like a star at the Edufuturist Awards, Ben. Just remember
Yeah.
that.
You don't need to stand
Yeah.
like a star because she is a star.
She is a legend and a star.
Oh.
Look at that, Ben. Love that. Christmas is 40s, everybody. Okay, let me try and bring up the order again. I think we are Tara.
I feel you started off strong there, Naomi, but I actually just remembered a moment, and there's a funny story in it, and also kind of thinking about the way things have always been done in school. You said the word SATs, Christine, and it just reminded me, I don't know any of the primary educators listening, you could say the SATs police. You know, when your SATs papers come in, and if you get an inspection, Christine's nodding away his head, and the SATs police. So I'm having a lovely time I was in year 2, and we were doing under the water scene. And Sue, you know, the admin runs any primary school, right? Sue in the office, love Sue. And we were getting her shredded paper, and we were stuffing the tentacles. This octopus had some tights, and Sue just sort of appears. Always, you know, biggest smile, so warm. And she kind of looked white. And I was like, she's like, Tara. She did one of the SATs papers for the kids. When they came in, she used to like try to do the maths. We were a small village school. I think we had 11 in year 6 that year. They come in packs of 15, 20, 30 books. So the inspection was being done and we were missing a SATs paper. Now she'd done it and she'd shredded it. She appeared. I was like, Sue, it's in the tentacle. We're not getting that back. So she walks out with a tight stuffed with this tentacle back to the office. And there you go. So it was funny in that, you know, like I say, I'm there having a lovely time, but also the absolute panic of the sort of compliance of things in school and just that light-hearted moment afterwards in the staff room. Of course, we could all laugh about it. But, you know, the absolute panic, no harm was done. The tentacle stayed in one piece and we just got a bit of a telling off.
Stuffed tentacles that stay in one piece. Now, that is something that you didn't expect to hear on a Christmas podcast.
The question is, what had the most impact? That SATs paper actually being sat, or actually the fact that it was used as a tentacle? I would say that was probably the most useful use of a SATs paper in my life. So well done, Tara.
Yes.
Yeah, go Sue.
Absolutely. Well done, Sue. Well done. Christine?
Well, I mean, my school days, I went to school in the 80s, so it wasn't much fun. In the 80s, you were dodging chalk rubbers. I'm going to take the lead from Naomi. So early years, if Poppy was here, she would be with me on this one. Early years, that's where kind of my passion was. I taught all of primary, but early years was where I really felt at home. I related to them too much. So, you know, it's all play, isn't it? All we do is play. No. So I had, it was an early years reception nursery mixed class. One morning, I could smell something. Does anybody need the toilet? No. Okay. And I was like, somebody needs the toilet. So I kept asking this question. And when we went to play, this child's next to me. I'm looking at it. I'm, Eva, do you need the toilet? No. Okay. And so I asked her a few times. And she went, no, miss, I've been. Oh. Let's go to the bathroom, Eva. So off we went. And it was a serious, let's say, code brown, serious. I had to completely undress this child to clean her up whilst I called for her mum to come and take her home. She wasn't well. So nursery toilets are really low, but we had some very small children. So we had a little step with like a handrail for them. So she was stood on there where I trying to do what all good early years teachers have to do and sort their children out. And so she's naked. She's completely naked. And I'd ask her to turn around so I can try and sort her out. And then she holds onto this rail, looks at me, and there isn't a glimmer of smile in her eye. She's deadly serious. Miss Mayers, I can twerk. Do you want to see? No, I don't. So yeah, I had a child offer to twerk covered in, and I told her mum, and her mum just shook her head and went, yeah, that sounds like Eva. So yeah, that has got still, that kid would be about 16 now, and I'd love to be able to see her and kind of remind her of that time and really embarrass her. So yeah, code browns in early years, it's not all play and fun and painting. There's lots of other stuff that goes on.
Dave, how'd you follow that one, mate?
Just thinking that, I just kind of turned my stomach a little bit, to be honest.
Well, like the eggnog.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not so keen on this now.
I'm more about the nog than the egg, to be honest, when it comes to that. So, my story has got a tenuous link to the biology of both Naomi's and Christine's, but only in the fact that it takes place in a biology classroom. So this is going back to, goodness me, 1988 or something like that, I think it was, year 9-ish, history class in a biology classroom, because why wouldn't you, and this is at a place that Ben knows very well. So I went to school at Moorhead High School, which then renamed as Accrington Academy, where Ben...
That's where I used to work.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Did you not know? Well, there you go. There's probably still evidence of me around there, to be honest. But on this occasion...
Is it anything to do with Christine or Naomi's story?
It's not, no. It just happens to be in a biology classroom. And at the front of this classroom, there was a cabinet with a human skeleton in there. And this is just a gathering dust, to be honest. It's been there since probably the 60s. And one day in history, the history teacher, who really didn't care at all, he was one of those old school teachers who just turned up. You can imagine the ones who just sit smoking in the staff room. We're talking back in the day. He was a little bit late, so my friend who sat next to me, Neil Bennett, decided to switch places with this skeleton, and he spent the lesson in the skeleton's cabinet, and we sat the skeleton down next to me. The teacher didn't notice, or maybe he did and just couldn't give a toss, really. So that was kind of the funny story that sprang to mind when you asked for it. So we spent a lesson where every time the teacher asked a question, I put the skeleton's hand up next to me, but he never actually asked Neil to answer the question. And at the end of the lesson, Neil walked out to the cupboard, said, "Nice lesson, sir," and off he went. But yeah, that was a thing that immediately sprang back to mind. Not really a punchline there, but it makes me laugh heartily every time I think back to that experience.
Plenty of skeletons in your cupboard, Dave. See what you did there.
Louisa?
Yeah, I mean, it's got nothing to do with skeletons. Can I just say, by the way, these hats are really comfy. They're like the plush ones. Like they're the good quality ones.
We don't mess about.
Really.
In fact, just a little shout on that. Just a little shout on this. We got the hats, but this little thing here, I was panicking because we had loads. But then shout out to my incredible wife, who just went, "I reckon we can know somewhere. Why don't we go and take this to the embroiderers? There's an embroiderer down the road." Sent the logo. She sent it across, and she said she went in with a lovely police voice, and she didn't go, "Here's my badge. Do this immediately." She just said, "What's the chances of you embroidering this?" And they went, "Oh, yeah, it takes 5 to 7 days." And she went, "If we pay a bit extra, can you do it today?" And they went, "Oh, yeah, okay, no problem." And so they did it in the day. So shout out to the wonderful...
I'd love the North, honestly. So despite my accent in London...
And we apologise to everybody that should have had their work done by the printers that day, and because they smelt the money, they decided that they were going to be late. So we're glad that we got our hats on time. But
well, actually, we're really glad. So shout out to them. Yeah, thanks. Anyway, funny story. Okay, so I'm not a teacher, like shock horror, but I'm not a teacher. I work a lot with teachers, but I'm not one. So I can't really reflect on. Oh, actually, sorry, I say I can't really reflect on that, but actually, I don't think you guys knew this, but I actually started my uni career in doing primary teaching. I quit after a year, though. I quit after a year because I had a really bad experience with a teacher who just, pick and mix for her would have just blown her mind. She was a bit old school and a bit, stuck in her ways. No, funny story from my school days. So my sisters and I all look quite similar. You look like an elf when you did that, Ben. My sisters and I all look quite similar, and but one of us is more mischievous than the others. And I used to get told off quite often by teachers because they thought I was my sister. They think I was me. That's the funniest thing that's ever happened to me at school. Really sorry about that.
It's all right for your sisters that could do anything and not get in trouble, but obviously it's bad when you did nothing and got in trouble.
Then I got to go home and be like, Miss so and so told me off because my sister, and then the trouble happened.
Yeah, the parents got involved. Gaz?
But it's interesting.
Yeah, mine's a bit of a shocker, really. You might not have realised, but I can be a bit of a rascal sometimes, and I think that stemmed from my youth. And so I went to school in the 90s up in Yorkshire, and a film came out. You may remember it, The Full Monty. Some famous scenes
I
in
hope
that.
this is going where I hope it's going, Gaz. Please tell me it's going there.
So I was 15. I was the school drummer. We'd just finished doing 3 nights of Dracula Spectacular, and we had an after-show party. And there was a little bit of Yorkshire bootleg booze knocking around, and that song came on. So I got on stage. I was wearing a Trilby hat, so I was the drummer. And my friend joined me, and we started to reenact the scene. And at the point where we spun round with just the hat covering is when they opened the doors to let all the parents in to pick the kids up. At that point, two of the girls nicked my clothes and hid them around the school. And my mum the next day was up in front of the headmaster. She managed to blag it that I didn't get suspended because all the teachers thought it was quite amusing. So that was my little year 11 story.
Win. If we had a little trophy now, win.
Yeah.
Right there. Great stories, but that is class. Love that.
I'd misheard. I thought you were doing that as a teacher, and I thought that's really not appropriate in front of the kids.
No. I was not.
Come on, Dave. Come on. You're lowering the tone here, even suggesting that. No. Amazing. So tied into that, obviously, you're going back to thinking about teachers and school, and we'll wonder if you could just do a little brief shout out to a teacher that made a difference to you, and a little bit of why they made a difference to you. So would again, Naomi, a teacher that made a difference to you and why?
Teacher that made a difference to me and why is actually Miss McGill. Shout out to Miss McGill from St. Patrick's in Derry. And one, she let us read, she read Harry Potter to us whenever Harry Potter was just coming out. So it was the 5th, but I can't remember what book it was actually, but she read the Harry Potter like to us every single day. And it was a great carrot because like she knew what she was doing really. If you think about strategies with kids, like she was like, we're going to read Harry Potter at the end of the day. And it was actually like everyone was engaged in it. But beyond that, she was like thinking about how to do education outside of the box before thinking about education outside the box was the thing, I think. She was really interested in like looking after us as humans, but beyond, because it was year 5, so it was like getting ready for SATs, getting ready for testing, getting ready for things like that. But the way that she kind of just seen each one of us as individuals, which is a really beautiful thing. And I've met her a couple of times in Derry since moving back from New Zealand. And she's now left the education system and set up her own little like company to do with creativity. And I think it just stands to her. Like she just said it wasn't working for her. Being a teacher in that space, she really wanted to make a difference for the individuals. And so we've bonded over like me working in the wellness space. And I think if I think about it, like she really was a big part of my trajectory, like in an understanding space. And just everything, like me and my friends now who were in the same class together still talk about her. And I think it goes to show like how much of an impact a teacher can have beyond, we talk about academics, talk about all this, but if you're really seen at a human level and seen by another human, especially at that age, I think it just really has such an impact towards the students, and it can have a lasting long effect as well. So yeah, that's my shout out, Miss McGill. You're amazing.
Love it. That is that's a beautiful story. Thank you. Tori.
Mine was actually at college by the time I got to college, but this teacher's really stuck with me. I'd imagine everyone who's on this call, we're here on a podcast, and hands up if you got talks too much on your school report. Every year, yeah, there we go. Every year, and it was I'm the youngest of 5 kids. Like at home, talking was my thing. I was grateful to be at school and get a word in edgeways, but I went to a sixth form college. And when you said the surname then, Naomi, I'm thinking, I can't think what his surname is other than Chris, because he was my form tutor and my English literature teacher. And he was like, I'm just Chris. And in our English literature lessons, we would just talk and have conversations and analyze. And I just remember being like, oh, this is it. And I think that lifelong love of learning, that was the first time at college where I was like, this is how I want to learn. And this is how I love learning. And Chris just, I suppose, instilled in me and with that group of us, there was something about that separation at 16 and going to it, it was a 16 to 18 at college that just, I don't know. I guess I felt grown up. To your point, Naomi, I felt seen. I felt really respected. And it wasn't a quick answer. It was, that's an interesting point. Let's explore that further. And I was just very grateful to Chris. And I still love reading, and I've still got that love of learning and, book club, talking about a book, now with a glass of wine, actually probably then too. My favourite thing to do. Yeah. So go, Chris.
Go, Chris. Absolutely, go, Chris. Thank you. Next up is Christine.
So I'm one of 5 as well, Tara. I'm number 2 though. Yeah, I'm number 2, and I had the pleasure, shall we say, of following my let's call him a genius, shall we? My very, very clever brother, like ridiculously clever. And I was a summer-born child, August the 8th. So I went to school like almost 12 months younger than some of my classmates, and school wasn't for me. I basically spent most of my life in my head in the clouds or climbing up a tree, or academia wasn't my thing. So in reception, or Infants 1 as it was in my school back in 84, 85, I went to school. I just turned 4. I didn't care. And I was like, it was you sat down, you went to school reading and writing and doing all of that. And we used to get asked to colour things in, and I didn't like colouring in. So they'd often find my book just scribbled over in black crayon, because black was my thing. But my teacher, Miss Jones, she sticks with me because I knew she cared about me. Like, I don't have a bad memory of her. Like, I have some incidences where actually I was smacked in infant school. Can't get away with that these days. But I don't have a bad memory of her. And I always remember, because my birthday was in August, I never celebrated it in school. But finishing it in July, I assume it was, and her giving me a birthday present. She gave them to all the children throughout the year, so it wasn't kind of special, but she'd remembered me because mine was August and I wasn't going to miss out. And kind of, it was stuff that meant stuff to me, and I just remember that. And I think it's going back to the connection. It was me as a person. It didn't matter that I like to scribble over my exercise books and just kind of twirl around the classroom whilst everybody was behaving. And I kind of like to think I took that with me into my career. So maybe that's why early years was my passion. I always try to see the child rather than, oh, they're going to get the results that the government want me to get or the trust want me to get. So that, yeah, I always kind of tried to make sure that the children in my classroom felt that I cared for them. And if they scribbled on a bit of paper, it wasn't the end of the world.
Love it. Love it. Shout out, Miss Jones. Dave, was it the history teacher with the skeleton? Or
It's
science
not,
teacher
no.
with a skeleton, sorry.
It's not, no. He was a history teacher in the science room, yeah. No, so this one, same school, similar time. It won't surprise you to know that I was a little bit gobby as a kid. And to be honest, I'd found school a little bit easy. It's one of those that, when you, I was called clever at primary school. I wasn't. I was nothing spectacular, but I think I just went to school with a load of dullards, to be honest. But when I got to secondary school, I found things relatively easy, bit gobby. And so my Set 1 English teacher, Dorothy Walmsley, she's called, was called. She was about 80 then, I think. So I doubt she's still with us. But she saw this precocious, gobby little brat and looked and tried to find an outlet for it. And she basically set up a debating club and formed this school debating club, entered us into a kind of an inter-school competition. But I wasn't particularly conscientious in terms of writing a script and sticking to it. So she had the foresight to put me at the end, where my role was basically to rip the opposition arguments to shreds. So yeah, it took that that challenging streak in me and put it to good use. And I think it also helped me to see that there's real benefit in teamwork. And we ended up winning the inter-school competition. We had the final at Accrington Town Hall. And I got a real buzz out of that. It was really good to be able to be a sarcastic little prick and still get a trophy for it. So yeah, that's kind of what she did for me. So thank you, Dorothy.
Well, this is the big one, right? This is the whole thing. Most of us are making a career out of that, aren't we? Yeah. So yeah, kudos. Well done, Dorothy Wormsley, for doing that. Shout out, Louisa.
I wish I had teachers that were like you guys when I was at school, honestly, because I didn't enjoy school at all. I had a really hard time at school, didn't feel like I fitted in at all. And the one person that sticks out in my mind, the one teacher, is weirdly my French. I wasn't very good at French. I speak Spanish fluently, but I was rubbish at French. But she stuck in my head because I just remember she was very, very kind. Whenever sort of, when we pass each other in the corridor or whatever, she'd always take a minute to just be like, "How are you doing, Louisa? Like what's going on?" And I remember towards the end, like when I was maybe even in 6th year, and I remember, sorry, what's 6th year for you guys? Anyway, it's 6th year. I was in Scotland. So I was in 6th year, and I think she saw me and she just said, "Why don't you come in, like have a little chat, come into my office?" And so, yeah, I went in and she just was, it was a check-in. Like that's what she was doing. And I think that I remember that is really powerful. Yeah, so she was just kind, noticed me.
Yeah, kind. Love that. There's a theme here, isn't there? There's a
Mm.
theme across all of these.
Mhm.
Gaz.
This is a real tricky one for me. I don't have a single memory of positive reinforcement at school, and nor could I particularly name many teachers. No one sticks in my mind. But there are two guys that certainly do from a pivotal point in my life. So I knew at an early age school wasn't for me. I was not going to be doing anything other than my GCSEs, and my passion was to join the military. And that's what I did at a very young age. And so I joined the Royal Air Force. I was just turned 17, spent a year and a half doing all of my training. And at 18 and a half years old, to the age that some kids are still doing A-levels, I was posted to the front line. I was posted to that one squadron that had the Harrier jump jets as a real spotty 18-year-old, nervous, naive kid. And two guys took me under their wing, Pete Morgan and Mick Petrie. And over the space of 3 years, their mentorship, the way that they not molded me, that's not the right way, but guided me, taught me life lessons, taught me how to be a decent human being, taught me how to drink Guinness and eat pies, but more importantly, showed me what it was to look forward and how to plan for the future and have a structure around what I wanted to do. And all of that was missing at school, but Pete and Mick gave me that in spades.
I think
That's freaking epic, man.
I think it's the definition of teacher. We always speak back to a classroom and the four walls of a building and all those kind of things. But actually, a teacher, an educator is many, many different things. Won't go into all of that because we're about 40 minutes in, and we always say we'll keep on time. But it's an interesting one, isn't it? So we're going to go around, and the next thing is we're just going to ask for one wish for 2026. Whether you think and we're going to try and keep it short and snappy. So let's try and think about whether that is in education, one thing that you'd like to see change or anything else, or just in the world in general. And we'll start with you, Naomi, if that's all right.
The word that comes to mind is this connection for me. Like the last couple of days I've spent going different places, and it's just been people hearing their stories, and just like everyone has a story that's kind of gotten to where they're at. And I think like a lot of like 2025 for a lot of people who I've worked with, it's been a tough year. It's been a tough couple of years actually. And I think like it's been the connection with humans that have helped me get through a lot of things. And I think hearing from other people as well, it's been the connection for them that's helped them just get through. So I think that's what I love about Edufuturists as community. And I think that's how we're going to make changes in education, is actually bringing people together and keep connecting with each other. So I think for me, just one wish is keeping and keeping seeing change through connections. 'Cause that's where the power of the people actually are. So that's my one, connection.
Well, Naomi, I will connect to what your idea is, and it's that connection through conversation. And there's lots of talk about oracy and changes to the curriculum, and I hope it's not rumblings and it really happens. I sometimes think if we, even my own children, how much opportunity do you have to talk today? Not to be talked at, but to talk and to have, I think there should be a conversation curriculum. I think it's such a valuable tool. Not necessarily public speaking. Not everyone would like to be here with a hat on a podcast, and that's fine. You know, we don't all have to be extroverts, but the beauty of conversation and oracy and being able to explain and develop. And I really think that conversation's been missing from the curriculum. So my wish is for the talkers out there and for those that aren't yet, you know, to be trained to do it and to do it well.
Steve.
Oh man, one thing. Oof. For me, I think it's finding success, if that makes sense, whatever that might be, so that we kind of maybe redefine. I don't think it's going to happen in 2026, but we start to maybe redefine what success is, so that actually, yeah, people aren't feeling that they're not successful because they haven't maybe hit certain milestones or kind of those social expectations of what successful is. It doesn't mean necessarily money and good results, and it's that people can see the success in what they do achieve, no matter how big or small. So yeah, I think it's that celebration of success and what it actually is, so everybody can feel successful.
Dave.
So 2026, I would love, I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love the government to sort out the funding crisis in schools. It's all well and good coming up with standards that people need to meet, but if there's no money there to meet them, nothing's going to change. And I think that it's been happening for too long. Schools have been living hand to mouth. Budgets aren't there to do what we need to do. My focus is on IT. Cybersecurity, great in theory. Let's try and do everything we can to do it, but everything costs money, particularly in that space. So we are absolutely taking a risk with our children's futures in terms of their health and their well-being and their safety if we don't put money into schools. So yeah, that would be my wish for 2026.
Just on that, by the way, just a little plug out to our roadshow up in Glasgow on the 2nd of February. Actually, I don't even think people know. If you go on the edufuturists.com/roadshow, you can actually book tickets for Glasgow. I don't even think Steve knows that, but you can already book tickets for Glasgow. And we're talking about funding and efficiency. That's the drive. So I'm with you on that one. Sorry, Steve, I jumped in when I'm not supposed to. It's really odd, this. I've been the quietest I've ever been on a podcast, and it's for that.
Ben. It's all right. I forgive you, man. I forgive you.
Talking about the
Louisa?
roadshow, thoroughly recommend it to everybody. I managed to attend the one in Birmingham, and it was a great experience. So if you've not got tickets yet, jump online and buy them. Buy them. They're free. These guys give them away for nothing.
Woo.
That's how good it is.
Woo.
Sorry.
Want it? Come to Glasgow. My hometown.
Louisa? Let's do it. Literally, if you don't turn up now, it's going to look pretty foolish if you're not on the pictures, isn't it? So don't make sure you do now.
We're only launching relaunching a national platform that same week, but that's okay. I've got a great one to follow you, Dave, though. And I'm next on the screen, so I really wish that here's somewhere that they could get some of the money from. I really wish that, aside from like world peace and all the rest of it, big tech gets switched off if they don't comply with the Online Safety Act and all their commitments. So actually switch them off. fine them, fine. Okay, you've got the money for the fine. It's already one going through right now. But it's not doing anything. So just switch them off. You've got the ability, you do have the ability to do it. They do have the ability to do it. So just do it, because that's what's going to protect young people in an unsafe platform. We do a lot of work around the digital safety debate, and absolutely not proponents of, blanket banning and all of these kind of ideas at all. But this is something that really, really grates on me when you hear yet again a social media platform hasn't complied, and everybody sort of goes, oh, but Ofcom are enforcing it. They're not. Unless you're switching it off for not meeting it, then you're not. So I'd like to see that.
Gaz?
My immediate wish is for a refill of eggnog, because I'm just about out. But for 2026, for me, it's momentum. I want it to, from me, when I first met the Edufuturists, and the couple of 3 years that I've known you guys and seen what you do and got involved, seen it grow year on year, and I want to see that continue in 2026 and be part of, like, a committed part of the Wolfpack, and see where we can take it, and really start to ask those challenging questions on a bigger stage if we can. Is how can we start to really get the Edufuturists out there? You're doing amazing as you are, but for me, that 2026 wish would be, let's take it to the next level, boys. Let's keep it rocking.
Absolutely. I think me and Ben had a conversation yesterday about just, there is lots of stuff that is going on, and it's just keeping hold of the reins, isn't it, Ben? Like, Joe, the book is by Tuesday we'll be there. That is done and sent, and then we've got the road shows, we've got Barcelona, we've got Bet, we've got all that stuff. But you know what I'd love in 2026?
Awards.
But that's what I'm thinking. Joe, we've set our sights on. We had to cap in Manchester based on the facility, but we've put ourselves out there and thought, you know what? Let's try and get 450 people in Liverpool. How amazing would it be if it's not about the funding and everything else, that's taken care of. We are so close to all of the awards being covered, but we now know that the core principle of what the event will run, everything is taken care of in terms of all of that bit. So it's now just, how do we get 450 people and more? Because we do have the flexibility to then go, you know what? If we have to take some seats out and some people stand for part of it, and we go higher in terms of number, that would be great. I think that will be probably the line in the sand, Ben, won't it? In terms of if people come to that, I think that is massive for us. And it's not about, like I said, the intention is, the reason we don't make the tickets for free, we've got to, I'll say it now, is the dropout rate of a free event is significantly higher. The reason we do so, when people see the price on the ticket, bear in mind you get your first drink and your food free, it's because we want people to commit to know that they are then going to attend. Anybody who runs events knows if we give it free, that's brilliant. The higher sign-up rate, but the dropout rate, we want everybody to turn up to sign up, and with the intention of actually coming. And we know that's a big commitment, but that's massive for us in 2026 if we can get those people.
And Steve, just a quick message there, if anyone's not got their tickets yet. I think that, as an outsider looking into the Edufuturists, you could think it's like a tight-knit community, and it's not. But it was such a brilliant moment last year at the awards when you were like, who's here for the first time? How many of you are new? And that show of hands, oh, yeah, 2 on the call. There were lots and lots of new people who had never been and who have never attended. So if you're sort of listening, you're like, I don't know if it's for me, I'm not sure. It's that growth, isn't it? You want new people, new voices, new faces. And that is a brilliant place to start the Edufuturists Award, or any other areas, or roadshow, travel. But don't hover over that ticket button. Just get it booked and come and join, and yeah, we'll continue to grow.
I'm going to say as well, yeah, totally. As a first timer last year at the awards, you are welcome. Like, you are made to feel welcome. Like, people just take you under their wings. My fear has always been walking into a room and just kind of standing there awkwardly in a corner. I'm not a person who just goes in and naturally starts conversations. some of that I've had to try, but yeah, people just welcome you in with open arms. Dave on his pea serving duties, perfect. So yeah, I second that. Just come and you'll leave with
Ian
loads of new
Phillips on the
friends.
door handing out drink tokens. You know, you met with some great characters, and
after hours karaoke.
Yep, absolutely.
We do our best. We do our best. Yeah, and we're grateful for that, and we're excited for this.
And just one thing to call out. I know that we're pressed for time and we're going to go to Quickfire, but one thing to call out is what for you, if you're a school listening and thinking, oh, what? And I know funding's tight, but if you think we want to attend and we'd be nominated, or we just want to attend in general, but our school can't pay for an awards, we cannot cover that, and it's not something that the school is allowed to spend money on. We are working behind the scenes for CPD accreditation. So we're hoping by June that it will be a CPD accredited event, which means then it becomes a professional development opportunity that you're spending your money on rather than just an award. So we're working behind the scenes to get that signed off.
Crafty beggars.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They reached out to us. CPD certified reached out to us, which is pretty cool. The cool thing around that, by the way, is that means Steve's got to do the application for that. So if it doesn't happen, just saying, it's on Steve's there. So we are gonna get to Quickfire, and we are conscious of people's time. So we aren't gonna ask everybody the same Quickfire questions. And if anybody's been listening, these Quickfire questions are not going to be done after the end of 20. We're refreshing them. So these are the last few. So where I'm going to do it is I'm going to ask the first question. If anybody wants to volunteer to do it, great. We're going to have 2 people for each one. But the key is it is a quick fire question. All right. So feel free to jump in, but make sure it's quick fire. If it's not quick fire, Steve's going to fire a gun or something. I don't know. So
I'm not going to fire a gun. I'm going to turn you off. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what off-call should do and turn you off.
Yeah. So the first question, if anybody wants to jump in on this one, is if schools were judged like restaurants by how much customers actually enjoyed the experience, what would change overnight? Anybody want to have a go at that one?
I was going to say, I want to jump in. Can I? Sorry. Just because I have heard this question before and it's always made me think. And I want to take it to early years because it's not one size fits all and it's not necessarily a set menu in early years. So I think, yeah, there's some restaurants you go to and it's, you get choices, and others, it is a set menu, but it's just for me, like, it shouldn't be a set menu. It's not one size fits all. So actually we don't deliver the same menu. We don't deliver the same curriculum. So for me, if we were judged like restaurants, we wouldn't just do that one size fits all. We would be making sure the curriculum was fit for our children. I get the constraints of assessments at the end. But for me, it's that would change, that we're not sending everybody down the same route, that you must all do this. Actually, you've got a bit of choice.
Love it. Gaz, I saw your hand go up first. Sorry, Louisa. I know. Gaz, you know.
It's a bit radical, this, but I'm going to say nothing. What would change is the way that you evaluate, not what's going on in the school. So you change how we assess it. You'd look at the reviews, but the school's hands are tied. They can't change the menu. They can't change what's going on. So all you're going to get is a different review and scale of what's going on, which in turn might switch people on and make them think, actually, this isn't working and it's pretty Trump. But initially, I don't think anything would change. We're just changing how we review what's going on that's still fundamentally broken.
And one review to that point, Gaz, I don't know if you guys have seen the Mind the Engagement Gap. It was Impact Ed to 2025, and that dip of enjoyment, if you think about reviews, my son's in year 8 at the moment. I'm sure we can put this in the show notes. He's right down there at the bottom of enjoyment in schools, and that is, if you were getting reviews from the young people, we've actually got the data. The reviews are in. Sorry, I'm holding up the graph on the phone, and there's a huge drop-off in engagement for our young people.
But they're not supposed to enjoy it. Go back and listen to episode 322. They told us we're not supposed to enjoy it. Anyway, get off your soapbox, Ben. Get off your soapbox. Let's not do it. Sorry, Steve.
It's all right. Louisa?
Can I just say language? So just the way that we actually reframing the words that we use. So instead of talking about behaviour, let's look at the unmet mental health needs. And when we're talking about bullying, it's unkind behaviour. And when we talk about, behaviour policies, can we flip them to relationship based? It's language. For me, it's language. I obviously don't work on the education side, but we see the mental health impact of certain things. And yeah, language. For me, it would be language.
I'll move on to the next question, the next quick fire. If anybody wants to jump in, just throw your hand up and I'll just ignore you. Okay, what is the most dangerous myth that educators tell themselves to avoid real change? Nobody wants this one.
We've kicked back with some change on that, and it's that it always has to be the same way. So, I've got an academy that we're running at the moment. It's alternative education, and we're called High Flex, and it's hybrid and it's flexible. And education is happening at home, in person, interest-based at our education centre. And I've got a young person who's been out of education for years. I've re-engaged them with the curriculum through skateboarding lessons, and that's how we started. And that, for me, the myth that I carried, I think, that I needed to have kids in a classroom, that was dangerous. And now I've changed that and I'm really proud of the work we're doing.
That's incredible, Tara.
Yeah, I was kind of going to go down the same route. It's that the quiet, calm classrooms are the most productive and where you get the best results. Absolutely not. Like, I've had kids who were classed as the bad buggers. I used to take them out to forest school every Tuesday and we'd have knives and fire and climbing trees and oh my Lord. Like, yeah, it's not about a calm, quiet classroom, children walking silently down corridors, that's what you need. Actually, yeah, what you need to be doing is pushing the boundaries, getting to what it is that the children need and want: relationships, interests, skills.
And I think it goes to like, how do we show teachers what's possible? Because a lot of teachers who I've worked with in the past couple of years is like, they haven't seen beyond the four walls of where they're actually working for so long that it's hard to see what it looks like. And I think a lot of us have gone and seen, or like my biggest learning was working in New Zealand and working in an open learning environment where it blew my mind to kind of show me, oh, that's possible. Like, that's actually available and that's what it could look like. But a lot of teachers haven't actually had that access or don't really know where to look at and things. So I think it's like, how do we show teachers either in teacher training from the very start what alternative education, rather than it being alternative education, that becomes the norm of what education actually looks like. I think we have to give people experiences and expose teachers to what alternative looks like to then allow them to then create those new environments that we're talking about too. So yeah, it's how do we allow teachers to have access to that.
So the final question, because I am conscious of everybody's time, I don't want to rush off. I know that people have probably got more eggnog to drink. It's this one, and we know that this one has landed for loads of people. And it is: if a 10-year-old asked you why they have to go to school, what would you actually say? Dave, can I ask you that one first? Because I know you've been wonderfully patient and let everybody speak, but I know you'll have a great answer to this one. I know.
I'm a very quiet person, Ben, so yes. I think three things for me. One is social contact. It's about learning to socialize, learning how to behave with other people. Two, it's to earn the key to the next phase of your life, whatever that may be. I talk to my daughter's going through GCSEs at the moment, and I tell her not to stress. Say, the importance of this is that you get those minimum grades so that you can unlock what you want to do next time. Anything above that is a bonus. Because once you start your A-levels, nobody asks you about your GCSEs. Once you start your degree, nobody asks you about your A-levels. So it's about finding out how far through that corridor you want to go and how many doors you want to open academically, and then go off and do your thing through leave the academic institution and go off and do whatever it is that you want. And then the third thing I think for me is people need to realize that life isn't always easy and isn't always fun. And we can make education fun and we can scaffold and we can support young people, but they have to learn resilience and they have to learn that, they're not the center of this universe and therefore things have to happen to them which are challenging. And that's how we grow. When we step outside our comfort zone, that's how we grow. So it's those three things for me.
Good. Anybody else want to say why 10-year-olds have to go to school? What you'd actually say?
That's the 10-year-old a question first. I'd ask them, what do they enjoy? And when they tell me and I can understand what they enjoy, then I'd be able to give them a slightly better answer for a 10-year-old. I love Dave's answer about that, unlocking the key and working towards different things. But for me, it'd be like, especially if a child doesn't want to go to school, what do they enjoy doing? If it starts playing video games, say, well, hey, you go to school, somewhere down the line, you'll be able to learn how to make video games. It'd be trying to join the dot of not necessarily you've got to go because if you don't, your mum and dad are going to get fined, or you've got to go because someone in a very important building in London says you've got to go. I want you to go to school first and foremost because you're going to enjoy it. And if you can understand why they enjoy it, there might be a better link to getting them to go.
And we're still both of those answers for an 11-year-old who's not mine, but I have to help get to school every morning, 3 mornings a week. Those answers are coming with me.
Love it. And as we say quite regularly, 10-year-olds don't have to go to school. Certainly in England, they don't have to go to school. But so when they say, "Why do I have to go to school?" we're not saying that. So it's not legally you have to go to school, but there's a lot of reasons why you should. And I think some of the things that have been shared there have been great. Well, I'm blown away. I said it will be good. I said to Steve, this is going to be good. We said beforehand it was going to be good. Not only have we got Christmas hats, Christmas jumpers, eggnog. I've been eating Christmas protein bars because that's what we do. And we've
Getting
hench. Well, trying. But the key bit here is about we've had fun. We've built community. We've talked about what that makes happen, and also experienced and thought about how education has impacted us, and then what we can do going forward. So we are so grateful to you all for joining. Sorry you couldn't be with us, Poppy. I hope you managed to make it to the end and you feel it, not the end of life. I mean the end of the podcast, and we're enjoying it. We I don't know why I've just done that. I've just ruined all my goodwill by being nice by saying that. Anyway, ADHD brain.
She's ill, but she's not that ill.
Yeah, she's not that ill. Well, we want to say Merry Christmas to all of you that have joined us on the podcast. Merry Christmas to anybody who's listening. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Again, links in the show notes for everything that we've talked about and to connect with these wonderful folks and what they're up to. Yeah, it's been a good one. See you in a week or so, or in 2026. Bye, everybody.
Cheers. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
This episode of Edufuturist is powered by Integrated Systems Europe, the must-attend event for educators, technologists and institutional leaders seeking to shape the future of learning.
From the 3rd to the 6th of February 2026, ISE returns to Barcelona, uniting the brightest minds and the boldest ideas in the edtech industry. Join us and push back beyond the possibilities that are transforming the classroom of tomorrow.
Don't just keep up with the industry, get ahead of it. Check out the video that's coming next to find out more and join us for ISE 2026. We'll be there in Barcelona, and use our special code EDUFUTURISTS for free registration at iseeurope.org.
The world of education is changing, and education technology is helping to change it. Different teaching styles, more flexible delivery, and a wider range of resources. All of these mean EdTech is playing a greater role than ever. And that applies to learning taking place in the classroom, the lecture hall, the corporate training center, or delivered online. Integrated Systems Europe is the world-renowned annual tech show for the systems integration and audiovisual industry. At ISE 2026, you will find all the leading EdTech brands in our Education Technology Zone in Halls 1 and 2, in our Connected Classroom Showcase, and across the show floor. Solutions on display include wireless presentation systems, interactive displays, short-throw projectors, collaboration tables, VR and AR systems, lecture capture, and integrated lecterns. In fact, ISE 2026 has everything you need to create learning experiences that are engaging, involving, and inclusive. See what you can learn. Come to ISE 2026 and explore the future of EdTech.
The moon is high tonight, the snow is shining bright. The pack is on the run through woods that hide the sun.